Listen, you are an executive leader and you worked hard to get to the position that you're in right now. You have a clear vision for your organization. You know exactly where you want to take the organization. You're a capable leader, you have a capable team, and on paper, it seems that everything should be flowing perfectly. But in reality, when you look at things, it's like outcomes are being hit, but they're being hit at the bare minimum. It's like you have to work hard and just laborious just to get minimal outcomes. And you know your organization should be thriving, but it feels like it's just barely existing. And teams are not working well together. They're not collaborating. It's like there's silos and dysfunction is slowly setting in your organization. And if you're really honest with yourself, you're starting to feel a bit frustrated. Now, if anything that I've stated resonates with you, then stay tuned for today's coaching session, the cost of the soft stuff. Hey, what's going on, friends? It's Barry E. Knight. I want to take this time to welcome you to the Leadership Class coaching session. Now, before I begin, please do me a favor and subscribe to our YouTube channel. That way you know when other videos like this are available, and you can also go and check out all the other videos that I've done over the years. I know you'll find something of value for you, your leadership, and also your executive team. Now, in today's coaching session, I want to talk to you about the cost of the soft stuff. Not the benefit, but I want to talk to you about the cost of the soft stuff. What is the soft stuff? The soft stuff is your culture, your values. It's that stuff that gets people empowered to do the work. It's often not measured and often can't be measured, but it is the most important part of every organization, of every team that works together. It's the ability for them to gel. Again, it's the stuff you can't always calculate. It's not always quantifiable. It's hard to measure, difficult to measure, but it is the oil that makes the engine run efficiently. We're going to talk about the cost. Again, not the benefit, but the cost of the soft stuff. As always, I ask that you would take copious notes. I have notes that I'm going to be reading from to make sure I stay on track. So again, you're finding sometimes as the executive leader that you keep revisiting these same issues over and over again. And ultimately, you learn to lead your organization with the chaos. We just settle for it, right? We know dysfunction is there, but then we learn how to just make dysfunction a staff member. And we just say, yeah, that's just the way we are. And success in our leadership is not about how fast we move the organization forward or actually achieving the vision that we had in mind from when we began. Sometimes, again, we diminish that vision down to just the reality of, hey, you know what? We need to live to just put out fires, and it feels like we're trying to just keep our boats above water, but the water keeps filling up in the boats. And that's how we lead, and we measure the success not on achieving the vision or literally transformational change, but just surviving. And I'm here to let you know, my friend, that it doesn't have to be that way. There is a better way. You can be that leader that leads transformational impact and change in your organization. So how do we get out of this rut of just existing and not thriving? How do we get out of this place of barely meeting outcomes? We're barely meeting, but we work. I mean, we're at a 10 every day. Or we think we're at a 10. I'll talk about that in a moment, but we're working our butts off and the outcomes are just like we're barely making it. Again, we're not thriving. We're just here. And at the end of the day, we just, all right, I put out enough fires. The house is not going to burn down. I'll be back tomorrow to put the rest of the fires out. There has to be a better way. And if anything that I'm saying is resonating with you, then again, take copious notes. But what's happening? What is the challenge? Why is it that we avoid talking about the soft stuff, the oil that keeps the engine running and purring and strong and active and powerful? Why do we put the soft stuff on the side? Why do we do it is because the soft stuff causes us as leaders to slow down, causes us, just like I just did right there. The soft stuff means, as the leader, you have to slow down. I often say sometimes we have to slow down to speed up. So when we think the soft stuff, we think, Barry, I can't slow down. I know the soft stuff. I know I need a better coach. I need to appreciate my employees and build an environment that makes them want to work and increases performance and productivity and gets better outcomes. I know, but we have a deadline that we have to hit. We have to get results. And so what you do is you push that pedal harder to drive, again, because the boats are sinking, the water's filling up rather, and we can't focus on actually just plugging up the holes right now. That's the soft stuff. We can't focus on that. We have to get the water out the ship so that we can move forward. But I want you to imagine how much slower the moving forward is. And oftentimes we begin to operate and it feels like we're moving faster. It feels like we're productive, but we're operating at diminishing returns. Have you ever been in that state in your leadership where it feels like we're just not hitting the outcomes fast enough or effectively enough, barely getting it? We're capable. On paper, we have the skills, we have the education, we have the experience. My friend, it is often the soft stuff. Probably, I would guess 99.999% of the time, what you're dealing with is the soft stuff. So we have to learn to slow down. I know oftentimes slowing down feels counterintuitive, like it goes against your leadership logic because you associate speed with your leadership. And if your board sees you slowing down, if your board sees you hiring someone to come and consult on the soft stuff, they're going to look at you and feel you're incapable of leading the organization. Or maybe your direct, who is the C-level direct, is going to look at you and say, are you capable of leading this organization? Can you actually do this? And I understand that. It's often difficult to slow down. But here it is. When the soft stuff is not, when we don't pay attention to the soft stuff, what is happening is, again, as I mentioned before, we operate at diminishing returns. So sometimes it might seem, Barry, we're moving fast. Yeah, you're rolling downhill. You're leading your organization downhill, my friend, and we need to reverse that. So how do we do that? First of all, write this down. The soft stuff can't be touched, but it can be felt. Let me say it again. The soft stuff, it can't be touched, but it can be felt. And that's the difficulty of the soft stuff. Again, we can't measure it, we can't quantify it, but it is real. It is operative just as much as our strategy, our strat plan that we put together. We rarely put culture. In other words, here's the strat plan, here's our goal, here's all the objectives, the KPIs, the OKRs, objectives and key results. Here's what we want to hit. But we don't always say what is the climate, the environment, the culture and identity that must exist that empowers this strategy. That is so good. I hope you wrote that down. You have to add that, and there has to be leadership to that. What does this culture and this identity and this environment and this atmosphere that drives this strategic plan forward, that drives us to achieve these goals, outcomes, these key results and KPIs, what is required of our leadership? How do we need to change, become better, more effectively? What do we need to start doing, stop doing, and change and improve in order to magnify and empower the culture that drives us to greater performance, productivity, which leads to greater outcomes, which leads to greater results, which leads to transformational change in our organization? So I'm going to give you 5. I have a lot of lists that I'm giving you. Anytime I give you a list of 5, there's probably 10. I'm just giving you 5 keys. So these are all the things when you're looking at the soft stuff that you need to make sure you're embedding in your organization. Number 1, I'm going to go through these quickly. The soft stuff is culture and identity. Now, I define culture and identity in my book, The Gift Cult Leadership, as the way we work together, and the manner in which we get things done. The culture and identity is your collective way of thinking. your collective way of believing, the organizational beliefs. It's your language and communication. The soft stuff, or excuse me, the culture and identity is your behaviors, your organizational and even leadership and team dynamics, the behaviors of your leadership team, your staff, your frontline. What is the culture and identity? Culture and identity is also what you allow to happen and what you don't allow. It's what you reward and what you overlook. It's what you continue to just let happen or what you stop. All of that is a part of your culture and identity. A lot of times we have the soft stuff, the values written down. Again, a consultant comes through and starts with values. I know what they do, right? They start with the values. Let's get our values and a new vision, a new mission. But listen, if that is not connected to the work, to the operations, the mission critical work, then the engine, your people, will burn out. I'm going to talk about that in a moment. So it's the culture and identity. Number two, the soft stuff is, listen to this, fulfillment. It's people knowing that they're contributing to outcomes, not just completing tasks. Think about that in your organization. Do people that you work with, have you created an environment where people feel fulfilled, where people feel they are their work matters? And I'm going to talk about that, so I'm trying not to cross over to the next part. So number three is worth and value. The soft stuff is worth and value, where people feel seen, not just used. They feel seen. They have worth and value. Do you implement a culture? Have you created and developed a culture where the people in your organization feel they have worth and value? Number four, the soft stuff is a sense of being necessary and mattering. Now, I had to look that up because the word came to me, mattering. I had to make sure that was a word. It is a word, but what does that look like in your leadership with your directs, your other executive leaders? Do the people in your organization feel that they are necessary and that they matter? Do they know that their presence and their work matters? How is that communicated to them? How do you share that worth and value of your staff, of your employees? And number five is appreciation. The soft stuff is appreciation. I'll go through them again. The soft stuff, number one, is culture and identity. Number two, it's fulfillment. Number three, it's worth and value. Number four, it's a sense of being necessary and mattering. It's belonging. And I know that word belonging has sometimes negative connotations, but guess what? We like to be in places where we feel we belong, right? We hang out with friends that we feel like we belong in that group. We even like our family where we feel we belong. When we don't feel like we belong, we're out. We don't hang around there. We don't spend and waste time in places and environments where we don't feel like we belong. And number five is the soft stuff is appreciation. Now, key here, my friend, I'm not talking about an employee appreciation day that you do once a year. And if you have employee appreciation days and it feels like a struggle to even plan it, and it's like you're trying to figure out, you're getting a count of who's going to be there, and it's like a low count. You're wondering why people are not showing up. And then you get mad, like, you all need to show up for this employee. You need to support your organization. If you're doing that, let me tell you something. It is a problem with the soft stuff. As I always say, whether your organization is healthy, dysfunctional, or stuck, it always acts like its leader. Your organization is always acting like you. So if you're having an annual employee or staff recognition day or appreciation day, first ask yourself, all the things that we're talking about appreciating, have we done that in January, February, March, all the other months that preceded this annual event? Are we just saying, hey, somebody go to the store and get some watered down punch and some stale cake from store-bought cake? Is that what the employee? Or have we been building on the appreciation? And this is just an event that recognizes what has already been done. So again, your employee recognition day, appreciation, this is all about the soft stuff. Should not just be a day that they've never heard before, or words that they've never experienced, or that you've never shared with them. It should be the culmination of all the things you, as the executive leader, or your executive team of executive leaders, have done throughout the year to get to this special day, to where it's the culmination. We're now commemorating the appreciation of all the work that you've done. They should already walk in having been appreciated, been valued, right? Appreciation is really all of 1 through 4 that you do throughout the year. You're cultivating culture and identity. You're making sure people feel fulfilled. You're making sure they have worth and value, that there's a sense of being necessary and mattering. And you do that. It's embedded in the work. It's embedded in the hard work. When you go to them and say, hey, listen, we have a tight deadline, show them that they are necessary. Show them that they have worth and value. Show them that they matter. Show them that you're fulfilled by the work they're doing. How about that? Show them all of those things, and you will increase performance and productivity. Now, I'm going to go through 4 things that are the cost. I'm going to give you these real quick. The cost of the soft stuff. If you fail to make the soft stuff the main stuff, the oil to your engine, if you fail to do that, the first cost is turnover. They say studies show that 50 to 200% of their annual salary is the cost of turnover. For one person, 50% to 200% of their salary is the cost. That means you have to recruit again. You have to hire a recruiting company if you do that thing. You have to interview and go through all that, and the loss of production while that person is out of that seat, the loss of outcomes that person was producing, all of that 50% to 200% of their salary you lose when you don't focus on the soft stuff. The second cost is efficiency depreciation. People are 18% less productive when their organization does not focus on culture and identity, appreciation, mattering, making them feel that they have worth and value, that they're necessary. When you don't focus on that, you lose average 18%, you lose it in productivity and performance. Number 3, project delays. Write this down. Minutes equal money. Every time your project is delayed, every time it doesn't get out the door on time, minutes equal money. And a lot of, maybe you're in the public sector and you don't even measure this. You should be measuring this, because ultimately it's going to turn into number 4, which is burnout. Now, you may not measure in the public sector. In the private sector, I know you're measuring these things all the time in terms of cost of project delays, efficiency, depreciation, and also turnover. You're measuring that. But ultimately, if you're not measuring that in nonprofit, or you're a church, or again, you're in the public sector, your government, you're going to measure it in number 4, burnout, which is going to cause turnover, which is going to cause efficiency depreciation, which is going to cause project delays. So it's on and on and on, and they're all connected. It's this quiet quitting that you get when you don't focus on the soft stuff. Am I making myself clear? Are you getting anything out of today's coaching session? So 6 gains when you mind the soft stuff. Now I'm going to go through these real fast. Number 1, reduce turnover of leaders and high value staff. This is what you gain when you mind the soft stuff. Number 2, faster execution of strategic priorities. Some studies say 10 to 40% improvement and increase of execution of strategic priorities. Number 3, increased clarity, communication, and trust. I have a client right now. That is a number 1 thing we're working on. That soft stuff that is producing lack of incomes, project delays, everything that I mentioned above. We're talking about that. We're making literally a streamlined connection to outcomes and trust. Number 4, fewer bottlenecks and operational breakdowns. Number 5, this is, again, the gains when you mind the soft stuff. Number 5, streamline systems that reduce delays and duplication, redundancy. Number 6, stronger culture, stronger morale, and better collaboration across units. That mission critical work gets done faster and more effectively. I'll leave you with this question. What might be possible? What might be possible in your organization if you stopped seeing the soft stuff as a distraction and started leading it as a strategic discipline. Now, listen, I hope you got something out of today's coaching session. Do me a favor. Listen, if you received any value from this video, watch it again. And again, take copious notes. Share this video with other leaders. Use it as a development tool for one of your meetings with your leadership team or your executives. If you're part of association, play this video as a development tool with your network of leaders, your association of leaders, and then ask that question: what would it look like if we stop seeing the soft stuff as a distraction and start leading it as a strategic discipline? And just dialogue about that. Share this video with others in your network. I hope if it added value to you, it's going to add value to them as well. Listen, I want to make this announcement. The Visionary Summit last year was phenomenal. I'm going to share a video with you about that. If you weren't there, you'll be able to kind of get an outside view. If you were there, you're going to revisit all the transformational moments that were happening. I'm excited to share that with you, but we're doing it again, December 10th, 2026. I'm announcing it early. Tickets will go on sale very soon, so please stay tuned. The Visionary Summit. If you are an entrepreneur, an executive leader in a corporation or a nonprofit organization, if you're a pastor, if you're leading in government or public sector, this is for you to expand who you are, expand what you see, and expand the people that you lead and the outcomes and achieve them faster and more effectively. Again, December 10th, 2026, 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. at Eagle Glen Golf Club in the city of Corona, California. More information is to come. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Barry E. Knight, and my purpose and calling is to help you succeed in yours. Two fingers.